When you think of an apple, what do you think of? Apple picking? When do you pick apples? Usually in the fall. So our title for today is Shades of Fall, and we're not talking soap opera. Today on Let's Cook. Hi, welcome to Shades of Fall. Today on Let's Cook, not a soap opera. When we first came up with the title, I said, it sounds like a soap opera, and maybe we should be showing a dimly lit living room. I remember when I was a young child and I first started to watch the soaps because that's the only thing I could do when I stayed home from school, but I don't do that anymore. But everything we're making today is basically goes very well in the fall. We're working with apples today. We're doing a pumpkin hash today with a ham steak. We have some real nice fall food going. But the first thing I'm going to make is I'm going to make a little bit of an apple pumpkin salad. So what I've done here is I'm just shredding a little bit of cabbage right here. I'm going to put the cabbage into this bowl right here. So we have a little bit of cabbage going here. Next, one of my favorite apples, Macintosh. So I'm just going to take the Macintosh apple here and core it this way. By the way, that's the easiest way that I've ever found to core an apple aside from using a core. And I've washed these apples, but I'm actually going to leave the skin on them. So we have some apples here too. Now with the apples, we'll just line them up here nice and neat. I feel like I'm playing backgammon, but we're just going to line these up nice and neat. And then we're just going to take our knife and we're just going to kind of go across them like this, just kind of cutting them in nice thin slices. I'll slow this down because, see? But then if you want, you can also speed it up a little bit too. And just go right across the apple. As long as you have nice thin slices, keeping your hand curled. You want to be careful when you're doing this at home. You really don't want to cut yourself. Now, also, I'll just show you another little trick here. Let's say you go through something and the skin's a little tough and it won't go through. If you take your knife and use the heel of your knife, the further back part of your knife, and you just kind of pull it through like this, usually that'll start to cut through the skin. It'll make cutting that much easier for you. So we have our apple right here. Now, as soon as I put the apple in with my cabbage here, I need to hit this with just a little bit of lemon juice now, because if I don't, the apple will oxidize. So just a little bit of lemon juice in there, that's going to prevent the apple from oxidizing. Next, I have a little bit of pumpkin here. Now, with the pumpkin, what I'm going to do with the pumpkin is I'm actually going to use my peeler here. I'm going to hold the pumpkin this way, and I'm just going to see how thin I'm peeling the pumpkin here, where I'm just taking nice thin peelings off the pumpkin. So let's just peel a little bit of pumpkin here. This way, if I did not cut the pumpkin this thin, I might have to blanch it. I don't want to have to blanch it because then I'm going to take my pumpkin, which has great flavor and great color. I'm going to take this now and chiffonade it, or almost cut it just like I did with the cabbage, where I'm just going to take it and cut it in very, very thin, almost an infinitesimal thickness here, roughly about a 1/16 of an inch. So I have this beautiful shredded. This way I don't have to cook it. So I have my pumpkin right there. In addition to the pumpkin here, I have a little bit of jicama. This is what a jicama looks like right here. It's has a nice, almost apple-like flavor. You can see the inside here. It's a little grainy, almost looks a little bit like a potato. Has a great flavor. So I'll just take the jicama here and we'll peel this. Now, when you're peeling the jicama, or you're peeling it, you need to make sure that you get rid of all of the woodiness in there. Almost like you're peeling a turnip. You need to really make sure that you get rid of all of that, because if you don't get rid of that, it's not going to taste good. So we'll just peel this down here. And with our jicama, we'll also cut this almost into a julienne strip. Let me just get this last little bit off. If you prefer to use a paring knife to peel it, go right ahead. Use a paring knife. So let's get rid of the peeling right here. Good. Now, with the jicama, again, we're going to cut this in very thin strips here. Again, this is just we're introducing a little bit different texture or flavor into our salad. But instead of cutting it lengthwise like this, I'm going to stand it up here, and then so they're going to be really short. You see how nice and short they are? I'm just going to come across them So we have our beautiful jicama here. Oh, I like this. Getting very excited now. I haven't actually made this salad. I'm going to tell you a little bit of truth. A lot of times when I make a salad on a show, I just come up with ideas and I kind of make it. A little bit of chopped parsley here. We're going to add salt to this now. A little bit of salt. I have the acid already present, so here's a little bit of walnut oil that I'm just going to put in here, just enough to dress it. A little bit of white pepper. And then to finish this, beautiful scallion here. Now let me show you a trick with the scallion. You know this outer leaf on the scallion here, this one right here that you might have trouble removing? If you go like this and then it doesn't come all the way off, if you hold your thumb against it and you just come off this way, you're always able to get that piece right off. It comes off very easily. Then you take the one membrane that's off there, you have a nice, easy, clean scallion. So the scallion, we'll take the scallion. So I'm lazy today, I'm going to cut it in 3, and then I'll go across the 3 pieces this way. So I'll use a little bit of scallion in here too. Beautiful, healthy fall salad. Toss this together now. Look at the colors. It's kind of alive. Salad's saying, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Good. Salad's done. Yeah, the salad is definitely talking to me now, saying, okay, Paul, I'm ready for the plate. This salad is very nice. You can do this ahead. It's going to be very nice if you marinate it overnight. Nice, wonderful, healthy fall salad. The only thing that I would finish this with would be almonds. Just some nice toasted almonds on top of this. Would go real nice with the apples. So finish that with just a little bit of toasted almonds. Do I have any toasted almonds here? Not only do I have toasted almonds, I have a baggie here of toasted almonds. So toasted almonds go right there. Now, the next thing that we have to do, and I have to get that started right away, and so I'm heating my pan, is we're doing a spicy pumpkin hash. So I'm heating my pan here. To this now, I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Along with the oil, we're going to go ahead and start with our garlic and our onions. In addition to our garlic and onions here, I have some diced pumpkin. Just season this with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable or chicken stock to this. We're going to let this simmer so that the pumpkin gets a little tender here. We cook off the onions and the garlic a little bit, then we're going to add the other ingredients. And you know what we're serving with this hash? A delicious ham steak. So we're going to take a little break, and then when you come back, I'm going to show you how we finish the hash and make a wonderful, delicious pan-seared ham steak. Don't go anywhere. It's definitely flavors of the fall today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Let's Cook. Now, our hash is going here, and you can see that during break, what ended up happening is all the liquid that was in here evaporated, cooked off, and also helped to cook the pumpkin. Now, to finish the hash here, I have a couple of Thai chilies here. I'm going to take these chilies, and I'm just going to break them so that they release some of the heat into there. You know, the Scoville scale there, the amount of heat in the chilies. So we'll add our chilies to this. At the same time, I have a little zucchini here. I also have some tomatoes and potatoes. They all go in there. Then we're going to take a little bit more stock just to cover this. Now, by the time this stock cooks down, this hash is going to be done. So a little bit of salt in here too. Now, to go with this hash, a little bit of pepper too. And then the only other thing that we're going to do with the hash here is we have to finish it with just a little bit of vinegar. The reason we're going to finish it with the vinegar is just going to bring all the flavors out in this, and also a little bit of herb in there too. So let's let that cook down a little bit. Now, while that's cooking down here, we have to do our ham steak. Look at this beautiful ham steak here. Doesn't this kind of make your mouth water? As a matter of fact, Autumn, who works on the show, this is one of her favorite items, is the ham steak. So, Autumn, when we get done this show, make sure you're the first to get to taste this. Well, all I'm doing right now is I'm just brushing the steak with a little bit of mustard. Then I take the steak and I have a little bit of brown sugar here. Take and sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar on this. Just kind of pad that into the steak. The mustard is going to go ahead and hold that on. Then in this pan right here, I have a little bit of butter that I've just started to heat up. To this butter, however, we're going to add just a little bit of oil. I want this steak to heat through before it gets too dark. The butter will brown too quickly. So just a little oil in there will help it brown, but prevent it from getting too brown. Take my steak, just like this, right in the pan there. Okay, make sure that's nice and flat. Then while this side is up, brush this with just a little bit of the beautiful mustard. See how simple this is? Doesn't need any salt. Just some mustard on there, right while it's in the pan. Otherwise, you make a mess, right? Trying to put mustard on both sides. A little bit more sugar here. Just a little bit. Now, between the butter and the fat, this is really going to brown very nicely. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Let's get my spatula over here. Okay, this will work. This will work. Just kind of brush this down in there. Good. Make sure that's not sticking. Doesn't that look great? Now, to make the sauce for this, we're actually going to deglaze this with a little stock and let that reduce down. Let's see how our hash is doing over here. Hash is doing really well over here. Need to let this cook down a little bit more. I'm going to add some herbs to this now too, because the vegetables, the pumpkin is basically cooked now. The squash and the potatoes and the tomatoes that we put in here, they're going to cook very quickly. Now, if I wanted to, two things I could do right now. I can take this, I can let this continue to really cook down, because, the term hash actually means haché, or to chop. That's how we actually had the term hash house. So everything is chopped. Or I could lightly thicken this with a little bit of refined starch, either cornstarch or arrowroot. I could actually thicken it too, but I'm just going to let that cook down. Going to come over here. My steak is ready to turn. Oh, doesn't that look fantastic? Okay, good. Now, once it's on this side, I don't have to leave it on there too long, because it's already almost heated through. So this is almost ready to come out of the pan here. Okay, let's just shut this down here a little bit. I'll show you how you finish this sauce while the hash cooks there. Take our ham steak, slide it out there, right onto that plate. Now, into this pan here, I'm going to add a little bit of butter and a little bit of stock. Just a little bit. We're going to let this now cook down and pick up all the flavor off the bottom of this pan. See how good this looks? Now the butter is just going to give it a beautiful, rich flavor that we can just pour right over the ham steak there. I just need to taste this a little bit to make sure we're in good shape. Take butter, brown sugar, mustard, pork that's been smoked, a ham steak. The flavors are out of this world. Absolutely delicious. So we'll just take our sauce right now, right over top like that. Beautiful. Okay. And our hash is also good to go here too. So I'm going to go ahead, put some hash on the plate to go with this delicious steak. We're going to take a little break. And then when we come back, spicy pumpkin hash here, but we come back, we have a little bit of in season of the fall, pumpkin flan. I know you don't want to miss it. It's Shades of Fall today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Pumpkin flan. Where would the world be without it? To make our pumpkin flan, the first thing we have to do is we have to make our caramel. Because it's going with pumpkin, I am going to take water with sugar with molasses. I want it really deep, dark, and rich. So I'm going to put some molasses in here. And what you do is you dissolve the sugar with the molasses here, and you're going to cook this down till it turns to a caramel. The way you know it's a caramel is how it falls away from the spoon. But what you do is you just kind of stir this on a nice Moderate heat, not too high heat, because you want that sugar to dissolve with the water and the molasses. Then you're going to, not too high heat, medium heat. Then you're going to cook this. Now, you're actually cooking the water out. You see what this looks like right here? Where it's bubbling. This is almost at my caramel stage. It's very important that it come to the caramel stage. So let me just turn this down a little bit, because I think this is just about good to go. And what I'll do is, I have my ramekins right here. What I do is I put a little bit of this caramel right in the bottom of the ramekins so that it can actually cool down before I add my custard to it. So here we are. Good. All right, now. Okay, now I can feel this. Okay, now this is when it cools down, because this is right now at about 340 degrees. When this cools down, it's going to be perfect. So we'll just line the bottom here with the caramel. You see how it's kind of sitting up there? You see how it's coating the spoon here? It almost forms a strand there. If I wanted to, I could make, almost dark angels here there. So we'll just coat the bottom of our dish here with the caramel. Beautiful. Now the molasses gives it a very rich, wonderful, dark color. When you make this, if you want, you can take these and you can put these in the refrigerator to really firm up while you're making your custard. But this is the first step in making this. Now, the other thing is with the spoon, because this is going to become very hard. Take your spoon, put it in a dish and water it right away. Bring it up to a boil, because by doing that, it'll just make cleanup that much easier. Now, to make our custard, right here, I have some sugar. I'm going to take my sugar here. Along with my sugar here, I have my milk. Okay, so you can use milk. You want to make it a little richer, heavy cream. A little bit of vanilla right in here, just a little bit of vanilla. Then I have my just canned, pureed pumpkin. If you want, you can make your own, but you can just buy it in a can there, cut that into it. Now, for this to coagulate, we need our eggs. So we're going to put about 5 eggs in here. Okay, so we've got 5 eggs going in here. Beautiful. This is delicious. And you can do these individual the way I'm doing them. Or if you'd like, you could go ahead and just do them in one large flan. Now we'll just take this now, kind of mix this together. Doesn't need any salt. Doesn't need any pepper. It's sweet, has a sugar in there, has a natural vanilla in there. We just mix this together till everything is well mixed. We don't need to incorporate any air or anything else. Okay. Has a beautiful, rich, wonderful color. See, look at the color of this, doesn't it? If this is not a shade of fall, I don't know what is. Very simple, too. And the pumpkin, the natural texture of the pumpkin goes really well with the flan. Then we'll just take this, my ladle. Good. Now, look, see in the bottom here? See how this is set up? Where it's really not moving? It's still a little warm, so it's not totally set up, but this is going to set up so that it's really not moving. Then we just take this. It's much easier if you do it this way, by the way. I have a little bit of water in my bath here. Put it in a water bath or a bain-marie. Then take your filling right down the middle there. Pour that right in there. And you're going to bring this almost right up to the edge there. Because this, not totally up the edge, I'm sorry, about 1/4 of an inch away from the top, right here. You bake this in a 325-degree oven till it is firm, almost coming clean away from the sides, but it's still going to have a little jiggle to it. Then, when you unmold it, it's out of this world. I'm going to get these in the oven. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, I already have one done. I'm going to show you exactly how to get it out of the dish. It's so easy. Shades of Fall today on Let's Cook with pumpkin flan. Don't go anywhere if you want to see how we get it out. We'll be right back. Shades of Fall or a molding of the flan, whichever you choose. Here's our pumpkin flan right here that I showed you in the last segment how to make. I have a nice knife here, nice thin blade paring knife. I'm going to come in from the side here, and I'm just going to turn the flan against the knife. keeping the knife this way because I really don't want to disturb the top here. Now, I can feel the syrup there in the bottom. The water makes sure that it doesn't stick to it. Then we'll just take a plate like this, right on top this way, come here, making sure it's centered. You need to make sure this is centered, okay? Oh, there we go. Now, I did that wrong. It came right side up. It was supposed to come the other way. I turned it too fast. I only have 17 seconds to show you how easy it is to really unmold this. And so the caramelized sugar is on top. 7, 6 seconds left in show. 3. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that.